Use Neuralmix with controllers. I'm DJ Spiegel Spin, and I'm going to show you how. DJ Pro has changed the game with Neuralmix. They have created a way for you to remove the vocals and remove the harmonics and remove the drums to create your own DJ mashups. Before this, you would have to use the EQs, the lows, the mids, and the highs to try to adjust the frequencies to get rid of the vocals and then get rid of bass and drums. But now it creates a whole new way of DJing. So without a controller, there's a lot of ways to use it. And with a controller, you can really let your creativity shine. So real quick, if you're not using a controller, you go over here to your mixer, and then you have control of the drums, the harmonics, and the vocals. And then you can hit up here to turn them on and off. And then also over here at the bottom, you could turn this slider all the way to the right, and then that'll be vocals only, or all the way to the left, and then that'll be the beat only. So these are the controls that we're going to want to use in our controller. Currently, there is only one controller that has Neuralmix built into the controller, and it says Neuralmix on it, and that is this one. This is the Reloop Buddy. This one was designed with Algorithm and DJ Pro hand in hand, and it is designed for you to use Neuralmix with it. If you look at the EQs, next to the bass, the mids, and the highs, it has Neuralmix. You could see harmonics, and you could see vocals, and all of that. So now, when you plug this controller in, you'll be able to use it by hitting the shift button. You hit the shift button, and you use the EQs, and Neuralmix is already built in. I would definitely recommend this controller. It's a great controller, perfect size, has everything you need, and has the Neuralmix built in. But if you guys already have a controller and it already has an EQ and it was made before the Neuralmix came out and it doesn't feature Neuralmix on the controller like this one, you are still able to use Neuralmix, but you just have to use your creativity. So with any controller that you use with DJ Pro, if you're using a iPad with the USB-C connection, you are able to fully control all of the mappings on the controller. So what you can do is, let's say you use Neuralmix instead of using the lows, the mids, and the highs, you could go into your settings, into the controller mapping, and you could change and have Neuralmix on any controller. It doesn't even matter if it's a tiny controller like this. With this controller, I still use Neuralmix because I mapped it into some of the knobs and buttons, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do this. It's very simple and very easy, and it only takes a couple of minutes. So here we go. When you're mapping controllers, don't be afraid to think out of the box, and make sure you consider your style of DJing with the specific controller in mind. So for me, this controller, when I DJ with this one, it's more for casual DJing, like I'm doing a backyard barbecue or grandma's 80th birthday or something smaller. So most of the time, I'm not going to be using headphones to DJ. I'm going to do most of the mixing with the sync button and do echo outs and simple transitions like that. So what I could do is I have this button this knob right here. This controls the Q level. Which means the amount of what you hear in the headphones in the other deck. So you could hear the mix before the audience hears it. But with this controller, I don't really need that control. And if I wanted to, I could go over here and I could change it in the settings. You just have to go through the menu. So now that we're in the settings, we're going to go to Midi Devices. This is where you're going to find your controller. Now find the controller you're using. DJ control, DJ to go to touch. This is one of my favorite controllers. There'll be a link down below. You could grab it. It's only like 90 bucks and it's amazing. So we click it. And then now you're wondering, how do I know which button I'm changing? This looks kind of confusing and could be overwhelming. Well, all you have to do is turn the knob. You turn this knob, and it's saying CC12. So you click it here, and now target. This is where it's going. So now this is on deck 2. So now we want it to control deck 2. And then action. Action means what do you want it to do? It's going to control deck 2, but what is it going to do on deck 2? So we're going to go to action, and now we're going to go all the way down. FX, Neuralmix, filter, instrumental, and acoustics. So what this is going to do, save it. So now what that's going to do is this button down here that I told you about, if you want to quickly change it from vocals to instrumentals, you could do it with this slider down here. And then now, if you do it with this Q mix, so in the middle, it means that Neuralmix is not being used. And now if you turn it, now we got an instrumental only. It just like that. So you could be playing a song, and then you could cut it into instrumental, play another beat, and then you could have a smooth Neuralmix transition using a very tiny controller. And the only thing that you're missing now is the Q mix, but that is right here. So no matter what controller you have, even if it's an old controller or a cheap controller or a controller that doesn't have that many buttons or knobs, use your creativity to put Neuralmix on your controller. So now the next one I'm going to do is going to be the master volume. Because if I want to change the master volume, I could just do it here, or I could do it here. So we'll go to Midi Devices, DJ to go to touch, master volume. And once you know how to do it, it takes only seconds. So it's going to go to deck 1, target, Neuralmix, filter, save. So now on the other side, let's go to 2 deck mode. I think it's on the top. On 2 deck mode, where did they put it? It's over here. So you can see it on the waveforms. And then let's just go back to classic. And then you could also see it down here. So now we have control of the Neuralmix instead of the volume and instead of the Q mix. And if you guys are using a regular controller like this one that has a regular 3 or 4 band EQ, what you're going to do is in your settings, you're going to go over here, and then you're going to hit the knob. Let's say this is the bass knob. So now for the bass knob, what we're going to do, deck 1, action, we're going to go down to Neuralmix, EQ, right there. So now it's going to change the drums instead of changing the bass, and then the mids you could do the harmonics over here, and then the vocals you could do the highs. So instead of bass, mids, and highs, you're going to have drums, harmonics, and vocals. So now you turned your non-Neuralmix controller into a Neuralmix controller. So if you like this type of videos and how to be more creative with your DJing, using the DJ Pro app, using the iPad, and using all the cool controllers, please subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. I make videos about DJing with the iPad several times a week.